We're bringing the newspapers this morning. Going to start with the Irish Sun this morning. Over there, the headline is, "Now we are on the right road." Some good Aaron Connolly puns. This is not the best one of them this morning. "These Samoans are a bit Andy," is the headline on Neil O'Riordan's piece. Andy Farr is more worried about a Samoan backlash than Typhoon. How are we saying it? Hagibis? Hard G or a soft G?
I have no idea.
Typhoon Hagibis?
Yeah.
Hagibis? Has anybody got a correct pronunciation? Tommy says after the Scottish haggis. So we'll go with that. Expert pronunciation from
the boy Rooney.
"You'll get me fired. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer told his Man United flops, you're going to get me the sack." Can't say that to a team because they're going to go, "Oh, can we do that?"
Yeah.
So I'll take my chance with the next guy here.
Yeah, he was talking about after the Everton after the game against Newcastle that the senior players need to the senior players and the senior members of staff need to kind of have a chat and put a hand around the young players who are struggling. Fortunately, that's kind of your job.
Exactly.
It does sound.
On the Aaron Connolly thing, we were chatting like this. Mick McCarthy revealed he would have no qualms about throwing Aaron Connolly in at the deep end.
Yeah, I just find it such a strange Aaron jumper as well in the Star.
That's the best headline.
Aaron jumper, yeah. We had Connolly Station yesterday as well, which I quite liked. Just on that, I just find it what's changed ultimately in the space of an hour of football. Aaron Connolly is no better or worse a player than he was last week. It just happens that he scored 2 goals. Now, he was very close to scoring against Newcastle, the width of a betting slip really from getting a goal that day, and he's been playing very well. I just can't see how Mick is now saying it wouldn't be a risk to start him, yet he didn't have him in the squad a few days ago, which to me was absolutely mad. And it's funny, in the post-John Delaney era, John Delaney put so much emphasis on getting to tournaments for the financial reward and all of that. We've 3 games left, and in fairness, we could really do a qualifying for this tournament, and I think it's a massive gamble not to have him in the squad in the first place. Now, he could have brought him in, but you could make a case that Troy Parrott should certainly be thought of as well. But Aaron Connolly, I mean, to have, with all due respect to the Portsmouth winger who played for Derry, it's very early in the morning. To be fair to Ronan Curtis, Ronan Curtis is a good pro, but he's not Aaron Connolly. And Ronan Curtis wouldn't be within a NASA's roar of getting on the Brighton team. And just because Aaron Connolly has frightening pace and strength. And we've a midfield with the likes of Glenn Whelan in it. We don't have that much speed in our team. We need something different against Georgia. It's going to be a tricky game for us. We're odds against to win it. So I don't know. Now Mick is kind of. He's turning it around a bit now, the way he's talking about him, but Ole is safe, but doubts are growing. That's from Jeremy Cross. "No talks over Tier 2 TV. The GA are yet to meet." RT, I always think it should be the GA is yet to meet. Storm a teacup for Joe, Typhoon, blah, 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 blah. Paul Lennon wrote the piece about Connolly. He's an opinion piece inside. I just want to mention this as well. This was on page 18. Jockey death payout. The family of an amateur jockey who died after a fall has received a settlement of an undisclosed sum at the High Court. I have to say I found that story shockingly sad, because I remember Jack Tyner, who's the son of Robert Tyner, and Mary, who's here, proper grassroots Cork Kinsale direction trainer, very good trainer, Robert Tyner. I remember reporting on this story when Jack passed away. He'd have fallen at point to point, and in Dungarvan, and he was a young aspiring jockey. I think he was 19, he was a teenager anyway, and I don't think there was a real fear that Jack could pass away initially, and he did, and it was I remember having to ring Robert Tyner just to get an update on it, and it's a horrible call to make when your son is potentially going to pass away, which he did. And basically that story today suggests that the bottom line is that Jack should be with us today, that he could have been saved, that he wasn't best treated after his fall, which is very, very sad for the family.
Yeah, horrific story there. The front cover of the Irish Examiner this morning is "Storm in a Teacup. Farrell, Typhoon threat won't distract Ireland." So that is the map at the moment of where the Typhoon is and where it's expected to be on Saturday evening. with miles per hour of winds. 105 miles per hour is the one figure at the top there. So, and then some of the other stories inside. Breaking the tackle law, why coaches, players and officials must move with the times. John Fogarty saying Tier 2 will be sudden death for weak counties. And there's a piece as well about the World Athletics Championships from Carl Dennehy, who did good stuff throughout the course of that competition. And then I'd have been potty to leave out Connolly, says McCarthy, but he did. He did. You did leave him out.
Unless you can tell us, Mick, that you were always going to draft him into the squad on the basis of an injury you knew would happen to Ronan Curtis. Very, very strange. And, you know, Mick is a pretty old guy, and international football isn't maybe a place for revolutionary ideas and all that, but bloody hell, you don't need to watch Aaron Connolly score against Spurs to know he should be in the Ireland squad. Very interesting stuff at the back of the Independent from Michael Verney. Interesting but not surprising at all, I would argue. Galway set for more chaos as managerial saga drags on, and Franny Ford and Noel Larkin are reluctant to take Micheál Donoghue's post now. This should be a surprise to nobody, given that Micheál Donoghue left not because he wanted to leave, but because basically he's issues with the county board, and he felt that these issues wouldn't be resolved. But I mean, for Francis Ford or Noel Larkin to go in subsequent to Micheál Donoghue's reign, considering, you know, they served under him, they would obviously feel very awkward about that, notwithstanding the fact that they probably don't know what the situation will be with the county board, and also if it goes badly wrong, their reputation would suffer badly. And then Michael Verney goes on to say that the county is also on the lookout for a senior football manager. Galway legend Pádraig Joyce is a firm favourite to take charge, but Liam Kearns is also in the mix, and Daniel MacDonald has plenty of stuff on Connolly. Do we have that Aaron Connolly photo, actually, the one I sourced as a kid, which I if we do have it, I was sent it yesterday, and with no context at all. You kind of had to figure out what the photo was. I might have it in due course, but I think Dan would make the case that he probably should start. And there's
now, yeah.
There's Connolly, obviously in training, very casually. Yeah, so here he is. I don't know, I picked this out straight away because why is a fella with Galway Football Connection sending me this? And if you just imagine a beard on him, does kind of look like him. Even then he kind of carries himself with a certain
Which one is he?
confidence. Well, he's clearly the guy in the middle.
Well,
he's not the other two.
Okay.
Do you know, like, look, you see the eyes and the kind of... I'm not sure who that... I should know this. It looks like a little AstroTurf pitch. I'm not sure who that's for, but obviously...
You say Merview, is it?
Could be Merview, but I don't recognise the logo, or the crest. So, but even then, you can see Connolly's a real... he's an athlete in the sense of how strong and aggressive he is on the ball. But you had Shane Keegan in on Saturday, and I do recall Shane saying when he used to work at Galway United in one of the hotels in Galway during the summer, Connolly was flat out in the gym. He worked really, really hard in the off season, and that would have been 2 summers ago, if not 3 summers ago. And what's interesting is that the story about Connolly was always, his attitude might be a little bit suspect, and now the narrative is, his attitude is actually endearing. It's that confidence that's good about him. Can't wait to see him play.
Oh yeah, hopefully he's straight in the team, starting the game, but we'll have to wait to see if Big Mick has decided that now he's good again. Aaron primed, McCarthy hints at intention to pick youngster. Well, look, you'd grow old quickly trying to work out McCarthy's inner monologue. Farrell urges players to lead with their head. Andy Farrell has weighed in on World Rugby clampdown on high tackles at the World Cup, with concussion rising at an alarming rate. Global Chiefs moved swiftly last year to stamp out dangerous tackles. Argentina lock Thomas Lavanini became the 5th player to be sent off at this World Cup. When he caught Owen with a dangerous high shot during the game at the weekend.
I suppose the one other thing there on Connolly that you mentioned, Mick kind of to and frown over it. Mick said, you know, if I don't start and you'll be given out. If I start him and he has a meltdown, you'll be given out. Well, we won't actually, because, you know, everyone basically thinks that's the gamble we're taking. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I find that hard to believe.
All right, Solskjaer fears Liverpool route could cost his job. October 20 clash may be key to manager's future. What are we at now? We are at the 8th of October. We've got 12 more days until I can't wait for that game now.
But
We're very excited.
Did he not just say after the game on Sunday it was the perfect game for Manchester United to play Liverpool at home? Like Liverpool obviously, we had Daniel Harris on yesterday morning saying he felt Liverpool kind of bottled the league last season, which I thought was a bit harsh. But one of the games he cited was the 0-0 draw at Old Trafford, where they were quite conservative in the way they lined up. You can't really see that at the moment, and losing it is the headline in the Mirror. Which is exactly what it says in the tin, really. Chiefs can't take much more, and defeat to Liverpool could spell end of 7-month reign. Players confused by tactics and upset that he told them to sort their heads out. And former United stars Ince and Van Persie slam his methods. I don't really see what relevance Paul Ince and Van Persie have in terms of the Man United manager and whether he's good enough for the job or not. Maybe you could say the same about you and I, but by Georgia, he's just too good.
They've got a few more caps than we do, but
but was Paul Ince a successful manager?
No, not particularly.
Hero DJ to join boss Cody. DJ Carey. This is an exclusive by Pat Nolan. DJ Carey, who's obviously had his stint managing, was it the minor footballers in Kilkenny? DJ Carey is set to join Brian Cody's revamped Kilkenny hurling management team.
In the Carlo IT, obviously, as well.
Yeah, and in the first shake-up of Cody's setup in 6 years, the legendary player will join the management team. Interesting one there.
Right, so the Irish Times, the rugby in their first 2 pages, but there's an interesting story here. Leinster's lame duck. This is Dennis Connaughton. You can compete with the Kildares and Meads, but Dublin is a different animal altogether. Everybody's basically come to the conclusion that the provincial championship is a steaming pile of dog do at this point. It needs to be changed, radically changed. That's the theme of many of the columns today. And that was the front page of the, which was Andy Farrell stuff there. So the Irish News for you. I've got the Irish News for you as well this morning. Tell you what's coming up on that right now. 8:02 this morning. Lynch. Love Darragh will beat Cargan in final replay, and Frampton expected to face Puerto Rican in Vegas bout. So Carl Frampton back in the ring. So the Munster football championship draw has been made. There will be no Kerry Cork Munster football final in 2020 because they're going to meet in the semi-final. The other side of the draw: Waterford against Limerick, Clare against Tip, and the winners will meet in the semi-final. So Waterford against Limerick, Clare versus Tip. So Clare and Tipperary will fancy their chances of a trip to the Munster final next year.
It'll massively help their Super 8's prospects. I suppose it is a kind of an indictment of the provincial system, which Colm O'Rourke in one of the papers today more or less is calling to get rid of, in that I don't think anyone really cares about really cares for the draws for the provinces at this stage, and
no.
In Dublin it's a complete irrelevance. Having said that, Leinster is a dead duck, but Dublin aren't exactly struggling against most other teams as well.
A couple of stories in the papers today. Hugo Lloris ruled out until 2020 with the dislocated elbow. Not a great...
It's a horrible injury for him, and I don't really rate Lloris, to be honest. I think he doesn't give Spurs defence confidence at a time when probably they give confidence, but they need confidence. But that was a horrible injury.
It doesn't need surgery apparently, so it's going to fix itself between now and at some point next year.
To show maybe the Guardian as well. Just I think you might be more on top of what's going on in the athletics than me, Ger, but I'll review the decisions I made. Black considers his position at UK Athletics after Salazar ban. The UK Athletics Performance Director Neil Black is considering his position in the wake of Alberto Salazar's 4-year ban for doping offences. I just find it very, very hard. I mean, is it McClenaghan, the Irish guy who's going to go to the Olympics, Rhys McClenaghan, who I've actually met, and it's so infectious to meet him. How well he's done, and the effort he's put in, the shape he's in, and the dream that he's realising amidst the backdrop of just how athletics has to deal with so much negativity the whole time about suspicions of rumour, innuendo and all that. Yeah. And it must be very hard for athletes, because people just turn off now because this is just constant. Yeah,
I wonder if people just tune in for the big tournaments and don't care. I think people have moved to the post-caring stage where come back to us when it's a weird, because I think that the Olympics will still have a huge audience next year for the track and field. I'm talking specifically for track and field, where we can't really believe much of what we see. Mourad Boudjelal was interesting yesterday, calling on the French players to take charge, to basically do what France do at World Cups and have a revolt. It's like, our tactic is just get there and then let the players take over.
Gotta love the French.
It's worked out pretty well for us so far.